Hello everyone, I'm Merryl Hadadin from Group 2, and today I'll be reviewing with you Module 2, Lesson 4, Mixtures of Matter. Let's start with understanding what pure substance is. Pure substance has uniform and unchanging composition, but if we're gonna ask ourselves, what happens when two or more pure substances combine? Well, we simply get a mixture. In other terms, it's basically a combination of two or more pure substances in which each substance retains its individual chemical properties. And a little fun fact for you, mixtures or substances tend to mix naturally as well in our environment. Let's take an example. If you can look at the picture on the bottom left, we have oil seasoning and vinegar mixed together. If we can look at the picture on the top right, we have mercury and silver mixed together as well. When it comes to mixtures, there are two different types. We have heterogeneous and we have homogeneous. Heterogeneous. Let's take that fruit salad photo on the bottom left. As you can see with your own bare eyes, the substances do not blend smoothly together. You can tell that they have their own individual substance that are distinctly separated. The composition is not uniform and the substance do not blend smoothly. Homogeneous. Again, let's look at the photo at the bottom left. It's technically a single phase, and the mixture has constant composition throughout. In summary, it can be referred to as a solution, and it can either be a solid, a liquid, or a gas. Now, types of solution systems. This is a bit tricky, but we have to kind of learn it in science. Now we have a gas-gas, gas-liquid, liquid-gas, liquid-liquid, solid-liquid, solid-solid. The easiest way to remember these systems and an example is taking the words literally. Gas-gas is basically two gases together. So let's take a scuba diver as an example. The scuba tank that they have consists of multiple gases, oxygen and nitrogen. If we're going to take gas and liquid, we have oxygen and carbon in water, or in our seawater. Let's take the scuba diver example again. When a scuba diver exhales air, moist air, it can contain water droplets. So that's liquid in gas. Liquid, just think of seawater and natural rainfall coming down. And then solid liquid is just salt particles in seawater. Solid. Now, there's a special term for solid, and it's alloy. Let's look into the solid or alloy. It's known as a steel, and it's a homogeneous mixture of metals, or a mixture of metals and nonmetals, in which the metal substance is the major component. I know this is a lot, but let's recall everything we just said. A matter can be divided into mixtures and pure substances, and common thing between them is the physical changes. Now, when it comes to homogeneous, we have steel. Heterogeneous, we have homogeneous, we have like dirt and blood, and heterogeneous, we have steel, right? Pure substance can be elements and can be compounds. Now, elements, there's 90 natural elements found. We have gold, oxygen, or even carbon. Compounds, we have baking soda, for example. So, we talked about mixtures and solutions and all that, but how can we separate? Now, in order to study matter, we need to separate those mixtures in order to get to know their components. However, the process of separating mixtures can be different for each. So let's look into the separation techniques. Separating mixtures, there's numerous techniques that have been developed in order to take advantages of the different properties. We have filtration, distillation, sublimation, chromatography, and crystallization. Now, let's look into filtration. Filtration is basically a way to separate solids and liquids. It's a technique that uses like a porous barrier to separate that solid from the liquid, and the mixture is technically poured on a piece of filter paper and the liquid passes through it. So let's just watch this video that demonstrates the process of filtration.
Filtration. Take a round filter paper and fold it into half to make a cone as shown here. Fix a funnel on a stand. Wet its sides and keep the filter paper in the funnel. Pour muddy water to the filter paper. Clear water will be collected in the beaker below the funnel. The clear water obtained is called the filtrate. This method of purifying water is called filtration.
Alright, so in this example, there is a muddy water mixture, which is basically solid is the mud and the water. And we use that filtration or the porous barrier in order to separate the fresh water from the mud or that residue. Let's look into the other separation techniques.
Filtration.
Now we have distillation. Distillation is basically a physical separation based on the differences in boiling points. Let's highlight that word of the substances dissolved. This is a GIF process of how heat added in the boiling points. The mixture is heated until the substance with the lowest boiling point boils to vapor. Next, we have sublimation. Now, sublimation is basically the process in which solid changes to vapor without melting, meaning no liquid phase or without going through that liquid state. Now, that separates two solids present in a mixture when one of the solids sublimates, but the other does not. Let's look at this triangle, right? When we learn through science, and let's just take an example of an ice cube, it goes from a solid to a liquid to a gas. However, in the process of sublimation, a solid goes into gas without passing through that liquid phase. Now, chromatography. When you think of chromatography, you kind of think of paper and colors. That's how I want you to think of it. It basically separates components dissolved in either gas or liquid. And there's a mobile phase and there's a stationary phase, based on the ability of each component to travel or to be drawn. Let's look at this picture. Now, we have a beaker and we have the solvent and ink spot, as well as the filter paper. And the water is supposed to travel upwards, right? And after some time, that ink spot will travel and the pigment will travel these long distances throughout that paper. And you can tell the colors. And I think we probably have done this in class. And I think you've probably seen these videos when you were younger of water and liquid through a tissue paper. Crystallization, from its word crystal, forms crystals, is basically a separation technique that results into the formation of pure solid particles, aka crystals, of a substance from a solution containing that dissolved substance. An example of this, we have rock candy. Basically, water evaporates from the sugar water solution, and the solution becomes more concentrated, and this is equal to adding more of the dissolved substance to the solution. In summary of everything what I've said, mixture is basically a blend of two or more pure substances. A pure substance has a uniform unchanging composition. A solution can be, or another name for solution is homogeneous. There are different types of mixtures. We have heterogeneous and homogeneous. And mixtures can be separated either through filtration, distillation, sublimation, crystallization, or chromatography. Thank you so much, and feel free to ask me questions through WhatsApp, and good luck on your exams.